Sagittarius, your week beginning the 10th of November forecast suggests your natural enthusiasm can be something you want to embrace this week, but it does need to be used in just the right way. The reason for that is you could find yourself taking some direct and quick action, but then having to retrace your steps later in the month. The reason is because Mercury has now gone retrograde in your sign, which could see you rethink something, but it merges with the passionate Mars exactly on Wednesday. That can give you a lot of desire to do something quickly, decisively, and why not? But you do need to make sure that you've got your plan very well rehearsed, because Mars is actually in a challenging angle to the planet of change, Uranus, which has moved back into your sector of everyday structures and organisation. So doing something quickly is not necessarily going to be entirely in your best interest if it doesn't quite work out in the longer term. Also, Mercury will invert back into the sign of Scorpio, a very reflective area, from the 19th of November, and will only emerge from the retrograde on the 29th and back into your sign on the 11th of December. So you've got quite a journey to go with that, and Mercury in our own sign can be very much about our individual thinking. Also, Jupiter, your ruler, in the part of your chart to do with long-term finance, shared finances, investments, and entrepreneurship, slams on the brakes, as it does each year, on Tuesday through to the 11th of March next year. But you know, despite that, Jupiter is going to forge a very strong link with the Sun and also Saturn as the week draws to a close, but not before we have a quarter moon right at the heart of the week in your fellow fire sign of Leo. And that's a very tender 9th house, 12th house quarter moon, which could mean if you learn something or hear something that you feel is unfair, untruthful, or an exaggeration of what really happened, it could be very ignited in terms of your sensitivities, particularly with the combustible link of Mars and Mercury very close together. So if you can just try to navigate through that, if something does come up that ordinarily you turn the other cheek to, try to take that route. Try to not be caught up in other people trying to make a drama out of something. See the big picture, understand why they're being as they are, and by later this week, your understanding of human nature, which can be very strong, but it has been strengthened hugely by Saturn over the last couple of years. I feel that you can make sense of something in a very protective way. And even if an everyday matter, maybe a creative matter that you want to roll forwards with doesn't quite go to plan, underneath that, I feel there's an evolution in your being that's very significant. In fact, by the 14th of February next year, when Saturn leaves Pisces, the lessons that Saturn will have given you over the last 2 years, which have not been easy at times, but particularly around your boundaries emotionally, what you will or won't do around your family, some challenges around where you live, perhaps to do with property repairs and so on, but your deeper understanding of who you are and what you need is evolving very quickly. So even if you don't get the quick win you want and something you're inspired by this week, know the deeper pattern in your situation is still shaping up in a very positive and significant direction. If you've yet to order your year 2026 personal horoscope, totally based on your unique birth data and 30% off, please see the link below for more.